The University of Essex is home to about 40 sports and an estimated 150 athletes. These student athletes are often questioned to why they are constantly facing stress or pain at their young age. To find out why, I decided to speak to some of these student athletes myself.
Hi, my name is Conor Reeve. I'm 21 years old. I've been a student athlete for 3 years and I study sports and exercise science.
I'm Grace Santhamer. I'm 20 years old. I've been a student athlete for like a year and a half, and I study criminology with social psychology.
My name is Thomas Jefferson. I'm 19 years old. I've been a student athlete at Essex for 2 years and I do sports performance and coaching.
My name is Veronica Rubinova. I'm 21 years old and this is my 4th year as a student athlete studying business management.
Training for over nearly 10 hours a week while having to both attend and study their courses, the athletes face many physical and mental tolls.
It's constantly weights, moving around, running around, and throwing yourself on the floor at volleyball.
Pain. I try not to get injured all the time.
We put ourselves to maximum strain, but as you go through the year and as you start to get used to it, your body kind of acclimatizes to the environment and what stresses you put yourself through.
I spoke to Sebastian Biggins, a lecturer in sports therapy, to get a better idea of the physical tolls the athletes go through. And so what are some common volleyball injuries you've seen?
Yeah, so I'd say the first one is probably chronic anterior knee pain. It's usually patella tendinopathy. Patella tendinopathy. It's an overuse injury of the tendons. And I guess in its simplest form, the demands of the sport, or demands the athletes are putting them through, outweigh the amount of recovery they're able to get into them. There are some chronic shoulder and back stuff going on as well. It's a high-speed, high-force sport, so the shoulder and the trunk are doing a lot of work. And then if we kind of go on to more the acute stuff, knee sprains and strains, ankle sprains and strains. They're probably the most prevalent ones. Nowadays, in modern teams, they have various professionals. They have a strength and conditioning coach. They obviously have their personal coach or whatever assistant for the sport they're doing. I think in a best case scenario, it would be good, where you have your coach, an S&C coach, and you have a rehabilitation specialist, whoever that is, in the team as well.
Right, so you've just had an early morning session.
Started at 9 a.m. this morning, so early rise.
Early rise. And do you live on campus or do you have to get to campus?
I live about 10-minute drive off campus, so it's pretty easy to get on either car. So I wake up at about 8 and then start my morning by leaving for the middle session.
And so you have this lesson right after your session. How does that feel?
It's a bit of a rush. I had to go straight from the court and the gym to lesson.
And do you feel like it's hard for you to switch from sport to study?
It can be. If I feel like I haven't played too well in my training, that sometimes I can weigh on my mind and kind of distract me from the start of my class.
Many think that athletes' biggest challenges are the physical ones. But for some, it's the mental game that really puts them to the test.
Because if you are struggling on a day, you still have to commit and go to training, even if you really, really don't want to.
Always so stressed, every little thing that happened to me, all my assignments, coursework, classes in itself, being at volleyball all the time.
It's tough because obviously you have to go through the highs and lows of playing sport, and then obviously you have to be all happy for then class the next day or the same day. It's tough to switch from that mentality.
What would you say are some examples of mental hurdles or problems?
One of the first ones is perfectionism. It doesn't exist. And the reality is that people walk in thinking that they have to be perfect on every single skill execution and win every single point. And that's not reality. And the only thing that's going to lead to is additional anxiety, additional stress, and actually going to lead to probably burnout and fatigue and failure. When you make mistakes, that's part of learning, and you can't observe learning, You can't look at someone in a snapshot and go, they're learning right here, right now. That doesn't exist. There's different ways that you can observe learning. Like, I have athletes come up to me and go, Coach, I've got like 3 exams tomorrow. I'm like, well, you're not going to be here then. Come to do S&C, because it gets you out of bed in the morning, and then it means that you're going to you've got the rest of the day. If I say come along to the evening session, you're going to stay in bed till late. Are we chasing success or running away from failure?
A big part of these athletes' lives is Recovery Day, a day they use to recover their bodies and their minds.
For a student athlete, Recovery Day is lazy day. Literally not having to do anything, no studies, no sport, no work, nothing. Literally lazy day. Make yourself bored, make yourself tired from not doing anything.
I think for the most part it's downtime and sleep. I think that's really important.
But also like mentally taking a day of rest.
Going home, having a shower, and literally just doing nothing.
We need that one day of not doing anything to the point where we literally want to go back on court and work hard.
I decided to ask all the interviewees about what they would say to a person who thought that student athletes had it easy. And final question is, if you had someone sat in front of you that said to your face, like, oh, you're so young, you shouldn't have all these aches and pains and problems, what would you say to them?
Can I swear?
I don't think it's specifically for student athletes, that unless you've been through it, you just don't know how it is.
Everyone's on a different journey to begin with. I use that expression quite a lot because we all are on different journeys. And also you have to think about, well, actually, you don't know what that other person has gone through.
A bit of consideration for the amount of stress they're under. And then the physical side's there, but then when you add the psychological side on top, they've got deadlines of essays. If you're got earlier years, maybe first or second undergraduates being away from home for the first time, financial worry, social and family stress.
But we go through intense training. We lift really heavy weights, and on top of that we go to school. On top of that we need to have a social life. On top of that, we have to take care of ourselves, and on top of everything, it all adds up, and it's difficult. And we're at like a certain age in our life where we're kind of growing into the adults that we want to be.
Don't be scared of the hard work. Give it a go, and I'd say it's definitely a desirable life, but don't underestimate how hard it is.